All right, here we go. Once again, the map's going to be Shattered Temple, and it is going to be PVT. And Core's right now reigning champ for his team, Standard Gaming. So hopefully Childish can pull through for Binary Gaming.
Yeah, this is game number 3. Core's winning 2-0 so far. So we'll see if he's able to pull off the all kill or if Childish is going to be able to stop this Terran rampage. MLG Shattered Temple is our map, and it looks like, I think MLG Shattered Temple, no close ground spawn, so we should be in for a pretty long game here, or we'll see some very interesting builds here. It looks like they've spawned cross map.
Yeah, we see that Core's is spawned in the 12 o'clock position, and in the 6 o'clock position, we have Childish, our Protoss player.
Yeah, so for those of you guys who are tuning into my YouTube channel, I am Aegis, and with me is Reptile. You can check his stuff out at twitter.com/rkcasting. I'm also
Nope.
find him on.
That was close.
Is that close? How close?
No, my Twitter's actually TRG Reptile.
TRG Reptile.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't really tweet. I just talk trash over Twitter.
Okay.
I don't use it for any real purpose. But Aegis, where can we find you?
Alright, always my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AegisStarcraft2, and always send me replays. I have links to how you can do that to me on my channel, so watch some videos. I'll talk about it once in a while. Send them to me at AegisStarcraft2@gmail.com. And here we have the two players here, BNY Childish, chrono boosting some probes. And yeah.
Yeah, he's also set out an early scout. I mean, it feels early. I know it was around 9, right after Pylon, which is normal.
Yeah, normal.
But
for some players, it's normal. Cores is throwing up a supply depot up at the front. This is risky against Void Ray plays, but it doesn't guarantee we'll see Void Ray plays here from Childish. It's really difficult to pull that off correctly. And here comes the probe, going to be scouting into Core's base.
Yeah, and we see that Childish isn't going to be walling off, and that's probably good as Protoss. You really want to have the ability to wall off your ramp yourself with force fields.
Yeah.
So, that way no buildings get sniped. It puts them in a safer spot.
Yeah, buildings
But,
up at the front for Protoss players equals Marauders at the bottom, stimming and killing them off.
Exactly. And we see that Course is basically setting up so he can put a bunker in position when he wants to be defensive. So I do like his opener. It also gives him the chance to lift off his buildings and just put them on the low ground when he feels like getting a safer expansion.
Yeah. And Core is going to be getting up his orbital command. We'll see what kind of build he decides to go for in against a Protoss player. He did just play a TVT and a TVZ, so he's going to be able to show off all of his different builds against all different races.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marine is checking around for any proxy stuff. Looks like he's not going to be able to find any.
You need to be careful of pylons early on in the game. It's just, Protoss players can really punish you, whether it's with proxy gates or with warp ins. So it's definitely good to get that early scouting. And, that probe is still in a position where he could place some pylons.
Yeah, possibly at the gold base. Put it in the backside and start progressing the pylons forward if he decides that he wants to attack. And it looks like the Marines will be able to run into that probe. Good control by Childish, pulling that probe back. Looks like it will barely run away from those Marines. And Core is going to be retreating back to his base. He needs to somebody needs to take control of the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Xel'Naga Watchtowers are really sad when neither players decide to control them.
Yeah, and we already know that vision is basically a resource in StarCraft 2, so it's very important.
Yeah. The Xel'Naga Towers, they get real lonely.
It looks like, well, actually, I'm not exactly sure what Childish is gearing up for, but perhaps some kind of tech. He does have 200 Vespene gas, so, we'll have to see what he does after his research is finished.
Yeah,
but for the most part, both players keeping up on their econ right now.
Whatever tech well, I feel like he's going for a 2-gate expand. He's going to get up that 400 minerals and go for that expansion, and then he has all of that gas to be able to warp in 3 to 4 sentries. Chrono boosted, of course. He stopped probe productions, and there's the natural expansion coming up for Childish. And on the other side, we have Cores now switching his factory over to the reactor, so he's going to be going for some Hellion drops.
Yeah, Kors is actually being really intelligent with his scouting Hellion right now. He avoided the center of the map. Even though that watchtower wasn't taken, if it had been, it would have got scouted. But the Hellion's going to see that expansion, and now he's basically going to have to gear up with what he wants to do. we could be seeing the 1-1-1. You know, so deadly
Yeah.
against Protoss.
He wasn't
But it's
exactly gearing up for the 1-1-1, but he could switch into it. It will delay it just a little bit, and generally time gives Protoss players a good advantage in being able to take down a 1-1-1. He doesn't really have a tech lab available for production right now, and the Hellions have loaded it into a medevac and will be headed out across the field right now. And Childish has gone for his robotics facility, kind of boosting his
Yeah.
gateways right now.
That's very true, but the fact that he hasn't expanded or even started a command center, it's getting risky. The fact that Childish is going to be finishing first, he's going to be mining soon enough.
Absolutely.
And if he can keep Chorus trapped on one base, it's going to be really difficult for him to press out of.
I don't know why there's a Hellion over here attacking destructible rocks, but
Because fuck rocks, that's why.
yeah, good luck to that Hellion. He'll be there for a while. Looks like the Hellion's going to be running into the main mineral line of Childish. Looks like a couple of probes did just go down. 3 workers killed so far. Looks like 2 Hellions still remain. And Childish finally responding with those 2 stalkers. Looks like Cores was able to get out of there after killing 6 workers, so a pretty good deal
Yep.
for Cores. But still no natural expansion for Cores, and he is looking more and more like he's going to be going all
Whoa.
in off of one base.
Look at this. Yeah, double factory going up,
Triple.
coupled by a reactor.
It's triple factory.
There's
This is-
3?
Yeah, there's 3 factories.
Oh, no, yeah. But
Yeah,
double
yeah,
is, I mean,
okay.
2 factories being built. Yeah, he'll have 3 factories switching into a mech play. If he doesn't expand within the next minute, I want to say that it's basically all in. He won't be able
Yeah,
to.
producing off of all 5 of these structures is impossible off of one base for a sustained amount of time. Maybe he's got a timing where he can produce maybe 2 rounds of units and go all in and see if he can bust through the Protoss front, but our Protoss player is now getting out in more.
Oh no, Hellions are in position. They just got a huge volley off on some probes. We'll have to see how much more damage he can do. If he keeps doing this, he'll be in the game. I mean, regardless of his expansion.
Childish is not responding
no.
very well to this. He's only got 2 stalkers down here on the low ground. He's got a bunch of stalkers in the main, but he's just not dealing with it as well as he could be. 20 workers killed by Cores so far. Let's look at the units tab, and we are now down on probes for Childish. 24 probes
Yes,
to the
after losing
35.
20.
Bad control by Childish. He needs to get back on this, and back in the production tab we see a bunch of tech labs coming up, as well as a ghost. I don't agree with this now with Cores. He's going for way too much tech. He's not really building too many units. If you look at his army, it's just a
Gosh.
handful of Marines and a single siege tank. And
And now he's finally grabbing an expansion at 10 minutes into the game. And the thing is, well, like I said, he just did a ton of economic damage, no doubt about it. He has all kinds of tech out, but his army size is definitely
yeah,
weakened.
he's not going to be able to bust in here even if he wanted to. And that command center is just going to put him behind. That's 400 minerals sunk into essentially what's going to be a paperweight for about 2 to 3 minutes game time.
Wow, he's caught him out of position. Siege tanks are not sieged. Oh, I can't believe he's running away
Yeah,
from that.
yeah, me too.
No.
He could have.
He would have crushed
He
that.
could have smashed that army in the face, and basically gone for the kill. But Cores is now taking a pretty defensive position. I'd like to see Childish take the gold base, get some Colossus out onto the field, get a couple more gateways, and go for a pretty strong 2 or 3 base push.
I'm honestly shocked right now that he didn't press forward and just kill him.
Yeah.
He was in a position where, first off, he's behind in expansions. His army is smaller. He could have done huge damage right there. I don't know. I think he made an horrible
Childish
mistake right
getting
there.
supply blocked as well, so he's putting himself behind right now. The only person that's actually standing in his way is himself. And Cores over here, a couple idle SCVs at his natural expansion. Definitely not what he needs right now. He's got a lot of siege tanks out. And there we do have the rocks getting taken out. The Hellion earlier did help in taking that down, so Childish can thank his opponent for that.
Yep. We also have a drop coming in right now. Chorus is going for another Hellion drop, and the Observer is just gonna miss it. Hopefully he does some more economic damage here, but I just feel so bad for Childish. He could have ended the
There's
game.
a pretty big wall over here actually for Childish. He is warping in a Stalker, and it
He
looks like that Medevac did get picked up by that Observer. It's trying to escape right now. Additional Stalkers warping in. Looks like that Medevac will be able to get away, but the entire Protoss army is chasing after that Medevac. He wants it. Looks like the Medevac will be retreating into the bushes over there. More Immortals popping out for Childish.
I'd really like to see Childish get out of Warp Prism. I think if he got it in the right position, he could basically just shift his army all the way into his enemy's base. And the fact that Kors is basically relying on siege tanks to stay into this game right now, if he can just get in there, he could probably start crushing things out. He's got 3 Immortals. I love the Immortals, by the way. Choosing not to get out the Colossi and sticking with Immortals, it's going to be really effective against that mech force.
But Ghosts are now on the way, so we may be able to see a switch into those Colossus. And Childish actually not making probes very consistently. He'd be so much further ahead if he made probes consistently. And he also took the 2 gas at his natural expansion ridiculously late for being a Protoss player. We've got more upgrades on the way for Childish, so he's actually putting himself in a pretty good position for the late game. We've also got our Terran player now scooting into the center of the map. The gold base is coming up for Childish. He just needs to hold this off, and he'll be in an amazing position.
And Charge hasn't finished, but he's choosing to engage. He needs to micro forward to handle the siege tanks. He still has 3 Immortals alive, so there it is, micro forward. And look, he looks like he's crushing the mech, and I think he has enough to hold this off.
Immortals just smashing the mech army over here. And the last siege tank does fall. Kors falling to 80 food. Childish actually falling to 81 food. He needs to get that saturation at the gold base, take the double gas there as well, maybe even knock down the back rocks to be able to grab a 4th base. We have Stalkers continuing to patrol the inside of his base, not wanting to lose more units to Hellion drops. Looks like Kors was able to kill 1 more probe over there. Looks like he's going to be grabbing a 3rd base real soon. I'd like to see our Protoss player almost just warp in a ton of units and just go for an attack.
Yeah, I agree. He kept all of his Immortals alive, which is, that's the backbone of his army right now, especially against the siege tanks. So he's in a position where if he just gets a couple units, especially the charge lots, and wow, actually, look at that, going for a Dark Shrine, so he'll be coupled that with Dark Templar to
Hellions
do some economic damage.
Hellions coming in. And all of those probes unprotected. It looks like it was able to kill off a ton of those users. Oh no, 35 workers killed by Kors so far. Looks like the Hellions have been trapped. They're trying to swing back around to get more units. Looks like that will not happen. Childish still ahead in terms of the food count.
Yeah, this is a difficult spot. Kors is kept in this game by doing nothing but economic damage.
Yeah.
His army was countered. He had a much, much later expansion. His army was even smaller.
Yeah.
But the fact that he keeps doing these Hellion harassments, it's keeping him in the game.
Kors, look at him. He's continuously making those SCVs, whereas Childish is a little bit more relaxed about making his probes. Only now is he fully saturating his natural expansion. So like, Childish, this is what happens if you don't make enough probes. It's only because he's got this gold base now that he does have that economic advantage. And of course here needs to take that 3rd base. There it is coming up, the Observer.
The fact that Childish is scouting out that 3rd, it tells it tells Childish that he has a timing attack right now where he can go and punish him because he just expanded. This is where he's going to be at his weakest. If he can do it properly, he can get in on the high ground, and the siege tanks will be down low, and he'll be able to pummel that planetary. But he's just not responding despite the scouting.
He's taking a 4th base
and
for himself, which is a good decision. But I'd like to see him put some pressure onto the Terran player, see if he can get his tanks out of position, try to poke around. As we can see, Childish is actually not taking control of the center Xel'Naga tower. He's not really spreading pylons out onto the field. He's not spotting for a possible 4th base. He's not really spotting the gold base either. So, Kors, he's free to do almost anything.
Yeah, he has observers on the field and Dark Templar for scouting, but if he had that center control, he'd probably feel a lot more confident. The fact that you have the center of the map, it's just telling of who's in the commanding lead right now. And I really do. I think Childish is in the lead. He's ahead in supply. He's got up 4 bases. And here we go, another huge push right now. Tons of
That Dark
mech.
Templar does see everything, but he's not going to be slicing away there. I feel like he should have queued that Dark Templar to go after those ghosts, which are so crucial because this is against an immortal Archon army. So if those ghosts land perfect EMPs, Cores can actually smash through this and do so much damage.
Yet Childish really needs to spread up his forces. But look at the siege tanks. They're alone right now, coupled with nothing but SCVs and one
Dark
Viking.
Templar now advancing
So they're
forward,
getting caught out of position.
and no EMPs going down. Where are those ghosts? What happened? Looks like
Oh no, he mismicroed his army and cut it in half. And now, wow, Childish is in. Yep, that's it. He's gonna take the game.
Like, yeah, great job by Childish in that game. He could have done certain things better, making probes to give himself a better advantage, but taking down Cores, who's taken off 2 games from his team, great job by Childish. We're going to be headed into Game 4. It's still 1 point in favor of Standard Gaming. Current score is 2-1. This is a best of 9. We'll see what map is coming up next. And for you guys on YouTube, I am casting these games with Reptile. Follow him on Twitter at TRGReptile.
Yep. And that's the same as my YouTube channel. It's going to be youtube.com/TRGReptile. I actually don't post often, but you know, when I do, well, God, I feel like I'm doing an internet meme. Whatever, you can catch my videos at RK Casting on Twitch, so that's probably the best place to check. But yeah, so far, now it's going to be 2-1. Looks like Binary Gaming's finally in a position where they can start a comeback.
So we're just
And I mean, that right there, when I saw those siege tanks split from the army, I was like, what's happening right now? Why aren't the ghosts
I was
coming?
just looking at the Protoss army, looking for those EMPs. Looks like we're going to be joining a game on Shakuras Plateau.
I'm just waiting for an invite, Aegis. Want to make sure I get taken care of right there.
I think you can just right-click on me and just join the game. There it is.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can suggest.
And then MLG Shakuras Plateau.
Sure.
Looks like we have a little bit of an obsession with MLG maps. We'll see what player is coming out for the teams right now. And I'm going to pause this recording.